The Fourth Way Up, Chapter 13, Levels of Human Development. The Enneagram is quite applicable for studying the levels of human consciousness development and their mutual influences. The plane of consideration is informational. The conductor of active force is people number 4 and 5 and the school of understanding. The conductor of passive force is people number 2 and 3 and the school of knowledge. The conductor of neutralizing force is people number 1 and 6. Line A represents the informational influences of ordinary life that do not lead to the development of consciousness. Line B, coming from people number 5, is various kinds of information about self-development methods in philosophy, art, folklore, science fiction, etc. Line C is direct training in the school of understanding. This influence comes directly from people number 6. Line D shows that people with an open emotional center can address their problems with these highly developed beings, even if such beings do not have a physical body. That is, it's about praying with an open heart. Man number 1, according to Gurdjieff's definition, is an individual whose thinking and behavior are formed by the instinctive, sexual, and motor centers. Man number 1 is under the developing influence of people number 5. It is shown by line B, going from number 5 to number 1. This man number 1 simultaneously feels the influence of people number 7, God, who he perceives as fate. The emotional center determines the thinking and actions of man number 2. On the one hand, these people receiving knowledge at school from people number 3 develop into number 3. On the other hand, number 2 can reach the consciousness of man, number 6, in their emotional appeals, prayers. The forms of consciousness of man number 3 are most often created by the intellectual center. Such an individual is subject to the influences A, coming from people number 1, but is able to teach the use of intellectual programs to people number 2. This is any kind of intellectual knowledge, physics, politics, etc. Man number 4 appears as a result of purposefully choosing the development of his consciousness as the primary goal in life. This is a student of the school of understanding. The school of understanding is any school of consciousness development, yoga, Buddhism, Zen, the Fourth Way, etc. Here, the student studies the structure of his biocomputer and its programming methods. If about numbers 1 to 3, we can say that they are slaves of their biocomputer, and numbers 5 to 7 are its masters, then man number 4 is in an intermediate position. For man number 4, the problem is entering the information world, or, as it is also called, the subtle world, spiritual world, the astral and mental plane of existence. Here, he faces a lot of problems. One of the main ones is interaction with other people in the information world. For him, the feeling primarily the negative emotions of other people at a distance becomes a reality. At this level, any shortcomings of the adept will be noticeable for him, if not unpleasant and even dangerous. After some time, he will encounter people who use their knowledge of the information world for the purpose of the false personality. These are all kinds of magicians, sorcerers, witches. Moreover, some of them hide behind various beautiful names. For example, very dangerous magicians of the voodoo tradition say that they are only representatives of a beautiful national confession and that they do nothing bad. Some put on the mask of healers of the Reiki system. This teaching is based on healing through an appeal to the Holy Spirit. However, some individuals do Reiki on a situation to receive money, etc. It is clear that the Holy Spirit has nothing to do with this magic. In general, we can say that man number 4 enters the world of real magic, and any shortcomings in his development will be visible to him through a collision with this dangerous reality. Man number 4 is preparing to overcome his chief feature, his main fear. He can make such a super effort only by relying on the help of higher consciousness, God, and this is possible only with the presence of unwavering and conscious faith. Man number 5 arises due to the development of consciousness in the school of understanding. He is a programmer and master of his biocomputer. He forms the influences B for people. This person is practically aware of his consciousness as the third force of the universe. God for man number 5 is a pretty tangible being, judge, protector, and teacher. He has developed the astral body and can consciously separate it from the physical body. Man number 6 is a saint. He has achieved complete knowledge about himself and the world around him, but has not yet attained complete realization of this knowledge. Number 6 uses completely new resources and programs of the transformed biocomputer. He creates new forms and teaching methods in the schools of understanding, as shown by line C. He has developed the mental body and can separate it from the astral body. It is difficult to compare man number 7 with people number 1 to 6. He is more of a spirit than a person. He is the leader of humanity, the education of saints, number 6, and the most ordinary people, number 1, depends on him. Of course, there are no sharp boundaries between people number 1 to 4. There is simply an increase in the number of forms of consciousness initiated by more developed centers of the human psyche. However, man number 5 is distinguished by the consolidation of consciousness under the leadership of the highest emotional center. Man number 5 has will and self-awareness, which makes him internally integral. He has precise internal control over all groups of I. Man number 6 has an intermediate form of consciousness between the consciousness of man number 5 and 7. Man number 7 has the highest consciousness possible for a person, objective consciousness. The problem of the development of people 1, 2, and 3 lies in the disharmony of the centers. Man number 1 has poorly developed emotional and intellectual centers. Man number 2 has an underdeveloped intellectual center, and man number 3 has a weak emotional center. Moreover, even people number 2 and 3 may have a poorly functioning intellectual part of their respective leading centers. In people number 2 and 3, the motor center often works poorly. Therefore, as a result of self-observation, a conclusion should be made about the degree of development of both the centers and their parts. As can be seen from the Enneagram, most of the ideas and influences of B that develop humanity come from man number 5. That is, from an individual who has achieved internal unity and who can and should give people the knowledge necessary for their development. However, there are always many people number 5 with false crystallization. These very non-trivial people have achieved some serious, difficult-to-achieve goals. They are ready to tell how to reach such a peak. Such a goal is usually money, fame, power, anything but the development of one's consciousness. Such leaders, businessmen, and geniuses call to build their lives according to their model. Such calls can be very destructive. Therefore, the developing influences of B are drowned among thousands of cries like, "I know how to achieve happiness. Go ahead, follow me." More developed people can easily reproduce the forms of consciousness of less developed people, but not vice versa. A person with a higher consciousness level quickly identifies a less developed person. A less developed individual takes a more developed one for the same as him or for even less developed. Therefore, Reasoning about the level of development of this or that teacher does not make any sense, because only having obtained one's own experience of internal development can one understand what this or that person represents. Often, highly developed people disguise themselves as individuals with a low social rating, nomads, mentally ill people, etc. Gurdjieff, for example, successfully passed himself off as a carpet merchant,